Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. Today it's episode 111 and we'll be discussing Arsenal versus Manchester City. It's a very, very interesting game. The title race is heating up as we head to the Etihad for what should be a potentially title deciding game. It's going to be very interesting, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, this is kind of it, really, isn't it? Tonight is the night where I think we'll crown the champion, because if Arsenal win, I think they're clear enough of Man City to not drop the ball. If City win, then we think, we know Manchester City, they'll catch up with ease from that point. So this is it tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of anticipation. I think this is the box office fixture we were hoping it would be a couple months ago. City have closed up that gap now to the point where Arsenal must beat them away at the Etihad. The start race has been a very close one. Arsenal slipping up in recent weeks. I just feel that maybe the importance of the fixtures could get the better of them. They seem a little nervous. It seems, the expectations and the weight of Arsenal fans is on those young players' shoulders, and they're not dealing with it well. That title race, obviously, it's a lot of expectation. It's a lot of pressure, and Arsenal are starting to show some cracks.
I think they've only got themselves to blame for that, because they've put the pressure on this game they've put on themselves.
But I don't think there's a matter of
throwing it away against other teams, because if they beat Liverpool, if they beat Southampton, they could lose tonight and it wouldn't really matter.
Well, even the Liverpool game wouldn't have mattered if they hadn't drawn to West Ham and Southampton.
But of course, that's 2 draws. That's 3 draws.
I don't think it's a matter of blame. I think instead that there is going to be pressure. You're fighting for a title, and that's what's cost them in the last 2 games. And I just feel that if the title race is getting to them when they can't even see their opponents, I can't see how the importance of this fixture doesn't get to those young players.
Yeah.
And we saw Zinchenko the other day in the post-match interviews, talking about how, the young players around him maybe weren't ready for this title fight. I don't think he phrased it exactly like that, but that was the sentiment understood from the interview. So, I don't know, I just feel Arsenal are starting to show maybe they're not ready for this title fight.
I mean, you can't have one draw against, you can't have a draw against Anfield. You can't have a draw away at Anfield, throw away your season like this, because it's ridiculous.
I don't think it all stems from that game. I think it stems from the pressure of the title fight, which is understandable. They were dominating that Liverpool game. I don't think it was the pressure that caused them problems in that game.
Liverpool game. You might feel a bit of pressure. You might be a bit concerned going into a big game.
I don't think the Liverpool game is down to pressure, though. They got completely outplayed. I think tactically Arteta was absolutely done over by Klopp, and that's understandable. Klopp's a fantastic tactician.
But the way they moved on from that, to draw to West Ham and Southampton, is inexcusable.
Perhaps they realised that maybe it's not going to be as easy as they thought, because they have to, for them to remain as far as ahead of City as they have, they had to keep winning games, and they allowed that loss to dictate their performances following that. I think the game against West Ham was very different to the game against Southampton. West Ham, they took the advantage and they should have seen that out, but they don't have the ability to kill off games. In Southampton, well, they didn't seem at the races from the off. I mean, they were completely out of the game. Thank God that Southampton are atrocious. It meant Arsenal would get back in the game. It means we do now have at least something resting on this game tonight.
But, the underlying factor for me was, in both those games, they made mistakes. West Ham, they gave away a penalty. Against Southampton, Ramsdale passed the ball to Southampton forwards to score within a few seconds. It's like they've hit self-implode in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
And it's really bizarre, and they've got to be careful, because if they do the same tonight, they'll get torn apart and they'll throw away the title.
I think it's been a really interesting game from a tactical point of view. I think Manchester City, as we know, will line up in that 3-2-4-1. They're going to have a lot of the ball. They're going to have a lot of possession in Arsenal's third. In Arsenal's half, the way that Arsenal are going to be able to combat that is just by nullifying the threat of Erling Haaland, but also having people on players like, if he starts, Riyad Mahrez. You'd imagine Jack Grealish will start. That's a big threat. He's in great form. He seems to be able to pick anyone out of the past at the moment. Speaking of fantastic creators, you've got Kevin De Bruyne, of course. There's so many threats for Arsenal to nullify. I just don't know how they managed to pull off stopping City in every area.
It's just got to be effective for Arsenal.
It's just the fact that they got torn apart at the Emirates doesn't bode well for me
Yeah,
because this is away, and I feel like this could get
I think,
horrible.
yeah, one point I think we look at the two games where Arsenal have played City this season. I think it's fair to say that City have schooled them in both of them. The league game at the Emirates, City won that 3-1. Arsenal didn't even look within a shout until obviously Saka's their only goal came for a penalty. They were miles away in that game. In the FA Cup game, I'll let them off because I think Callum Chambers was starting. Not Callum Chambers, Rob Holding was starting.
I think they may. Did they have a bench keeper as well? I think Matt Turner may have played that game. So, but at the end of the day, the FA Cup's not their priority.
The one thing that could help Arsenal here is, for me, City have to win. Because if it's a draw, Arsenal still have a decent advantage where all they've got to do is win their remaining games. And let's be honest, their run looks nice.
Arsenal will be gutted at the timing of this fixture. Because if this comes... The fact that this has also come after their slump doesn't bode well. But if this was to come after a Manchester City midweek fixture in the Champions League, Arsenal will be fully rested. City may be travelling back from Madrid. That would be perfect. And of course, if Arsenal were in better form. But City played Sheffield United on Saturday. And that was hardly a challenge for them. Arsenal had struggled on Friday night. And they both go into this game with the similar sort of period of rest. I just feel that, Arsenal obviously in poor form. I feel Arsenal just have a strong disadvantage at the moment. City haven't lost in a good couple games now. They were patchy to start this season. Draws at home to Newcastle, I believe. They obviously lost to Tottenham in February, but I can't recall a fixture since that Tottenham game where they've lost. I think maybe not on Forest.
I'd be really worried for Arsenal because... I mean, it's not just because they're playing City, because I think if they're playing anyone tonight, and genuinely any team in the league, I still think they'd struggle tonight. I really don't know, because if it just feels like, because if they play their game, if they play their absolute best and don't give any stupid mistakes, then they will win this game. But I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, since February, City haven't lost a game since the 5th of Feb. They've drawn a fixture in the Premier League and 2 Champions League fixtures. The away leg at Leipzig, the first leg, and the away leg at Bayern, the second leg. Yeah. So they just look really strong at the moment, City. They're tearing apart teams like Bayern Munich. They put 4 past Liverpool the other week. Even Vincent Kompany's Burnley side, who have been the best team in the Championship this year, they put 6 past them. Yeah. They put 7 past an informed RB Leipzig's team. I mean, I just don't see how Arsenal are able to stop them. I don't see how that happens.
Because that's the thing with Man City. You can stop Haaland, they've got De Bruyne. You can stop De Bruyne, they've got Mahrez. You stop Mahrez, they've got Grealish. You stop Grealish, John Stones would probably still have a good crack at creating something.
I definitely think there are some positives they can take, though, from that first game. The fact is, in that first game, there was no Ben White in the side. There was no Thomas Partey in the side. There was no Gabriel Jesus. So they've definitely got more... They've definitely got more players. But Leandro Trossard wasn't in the first team really. Then he's only just joined. So
they're missing a few tonight, aren't they? Have they not got any injuries?
I think William Saliba is out. Yeah.
So Rob Holding starts again, and we saw how that ended in the FA Cup.
Potentially, it could be negative.
Right, it is just all gone wrong for Arsenal at the worst time possible. And City are just laughing because they don't feel pressure. Man City, genuinely, last few years just have had no pressure.
But another interesting sort of point to make here is that in every game Arsenal have lost, every game they perform badly in, it tends to be Aaron Ramsdale's performance, which has been a massive issue. Like, if Ramsdale plays well, Arsenal keep a clean sheet, Arsenal win. If Ramsdale has a stinker, look at the City game back in late February, sorry. Ramsdale put a 4.9 in against, it was late January. No, it was like mid-February. But he put 4.9 in that game. Look at the Southampton game. He passed it to Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz. It's just,
That's the thing for me. And I would be worried for Arsenal because usually when this happens to other title challenges, they've played really well. They've just got really unlucky in those games. They've dropped points. Arsenal didn't deserve anything from West Ham. Didn't deserve anything from Southampton.
Man City will be...
laughing.
I think this is City's title now. Throughout this year, I've always remained adamant that despite Arsenal fans going, no, we're not going to win the title, we've been good, but we're not going to win the title. I've always said now, this is Arsenal's year, I think. But now, Manchester City, they're playing the better football. They've got the advantage in terms of the games. If they win their games in hand, they'll be fine. They can get away with a draw here. And that's the problem. Arsenal can't. Arsenal have to win this match.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if City win their games, City aren't going to slip up. Where does City slip up? Look at their fixture list for the rest of the season, right? Manchester City, from here on out, after the Arsenal match, they play Fulham, West Ham, Leeds, Champions League, Everton, Champions League, Chelsea, Brighton, Brentford, and then, of course, the FA Cup.
There's one team that plays both sides, and that is Chelsea.
It's 3 easy points for both, mate.
You never know.
We're horrendous at the moment.
But from a neutral point of view, it's just really boring because if Arsenal win it, you've got to listen to Arsenal fans.
I still think this game's very exciting.
It is exciting, but if City win, it's just the running is just gonna be dull because City are gonna win. Let's be honest. They've got 2 games in hand. They're 5 points off, and they're probably they win tonight. I think they're home and dry. I think it's not even at the Emirates. I don't see any advantage for Arsenal going into this game.
Well, this is the sort of type of games that make Premier League title winners. The odds are stacked against them. Can they defy those odds and claim a massive win?
If you draw 3-3 to Southampton, who have been absolutely awful this season, and you've gone to the London Stadium to West Ham and you were winning and you threw it away, if you managed to, when all the cards are against you, if you managed to go to the Etihad and win, fair enough, Arsenal, you deserve the league title.
You've also mentioned how you don't feel Manchester City's fixture list is too problematic. They should get through it quite easily. Could you see congestion being an issue?
No.
Because they don't have a week off until the end of the season.
It doesn't matter.
They play Saturday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday game in the case of the Champions League. But does that will surely take its toll.
Because their squad's ridiculous.
It is, but it's not. There's still a chance they slip up at some stage. I think.
There is, but for me, I mean, their second side still challenges Arsenal for this league title.
No, it doesn't. It challenges them, but they don't win it.
Well, yeah, that's what.
What would you say? What would you say by a City second string team?
I mean, De Bruyne's been on the bench for half the games this season.
Let's take their team that played Bayern Munich in the first leg because that would be their strongest lineup. So take out Edison, you've got Stefan Ortega. We've seen him. He's a decent keeper. We've seen him have some howlers. You take out that back 3. You've got Kyle Walker, Aymeric Laporte,
and you've moved John Stones back.
No, you don't. He's not. He's in the team. You can't just change. You would throw in Sergio Gomez or Rico Lewis.
Absolutely fine.
In the pivot then, so if you put Gomez at the back, so you can play Lewis in the pivot where he's played a couple of times, alongside, I'm guessing, Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, that's sorted.
And then you would have, so Silva started that game, so you could play Mahrez. Alvarez up front. Your 2 attacking midfielders would probably
Foden
be...
and Palmer.
Foden, of course, didn't play that game, and Perone with Palmer on the left. I don't think that team wins the title. I don't think they've got enough firepower with Perone and Foden as your attacking midfielders. But it's still a good team. You make a good point. City have good depth. But I just feel if they pick up a few injuries, if Haaland goes down injured, Arsenal have hope. If you I don't see it.
That's what I said. That's what I said earlier. For Arsenal tonight, doesn't have to be pretty. You've just got to do what you can. And if that involves putting in hard tackles, picking up yellow cards, wiping people out, playing nasty, that's what you got to do.
Just disrupt their play as often as possible.
Look at Jose Mourinho. Yeah. Why is he so successful? Because he's an absolute shithouse.
He is the shithouse.
Exactly.
But
that's how you got to win sometimes.
Yeah, Arsenal, I think they just, as long as they don't concede in the first half and then maybe hit City on the counter, they've got a hope. But it's going to be a tough game. City are a good side. But they also need to back themselves. Arsenal are in the position they are for a reason. They've played lovely football this year. They're a really good side. They can't go into this game going, maybe we'll nick a point. You never know. They've got to back themselves. They've got to believe themselves. And I'm sure Arteta will echo that sentiment in all his press conferences and all his team talks. But it's going to be interesting to see. I think the game's going to be exciting. Of course, if you want to join us, we will be covering it live on here from 7:30. So make sure to join us.
Tonight.
An extra long build-up, as well as other Premier League fixtures going on at the same time. And of course, we're also live tomorrow for Tottenham Man United. Should we do some predictions because we don't predict it on Prem predictions. We never predict the games we're live for on Prem predictions. But I feel this occasion is so momentous. It is owing of a prediction.
I don't want to be boring, but I'm going to go for a draw.
Oh, you want to? Well, that's not boring. Let's keep the title race wide open.
I'm going to go 1-1.
FC Bowl.
And it'll be a Haaland goal and a Saka goal. But it is just going to be Arsenal just, fouling City.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really interesting game to watch. It's going to frustrate City fans so much, and Arsenal fans will be absolutely loving it because it'll feel like a win.
That's what they got to do. That's what Arsenal got to do. I don't have such strong hopes Arsenal are going to hold them off. I feel Man City, while I hope the title race goes to the final day because I think that'll be more exciting from a neutral perspective. I feel that if I'm being logical, Manchester City are just a completely... they're an animal. They're just absolutely unstoppable, and I think they'll win this game comfortably. I think it'll be a similar scoreline to what it was at the Emirates. I'll go 3-0 though, Manchester City. I don't think... Because Arsenal wouldn't have scored in the first leg if it wasn't for a penalty. And I don't think they'll get such fortunes here. I'll go Haaland for a double. And then I guess Grealish is in good form.
Yeah. I was just thinking Anthony Taylor's the referee because that would change my prediction massively.
Arsenal 9-0.
Yeah,
wow, everybody.
So,
still not stunning, but yeah, should be an interesting game. Any last thoughts? Any closing thoughts before we end off today's podcast?
This is it. This is the Premier League 2022-2023 title.
I swear you've just said 2023 twice. I've never heard anyone say that. I most will go after 2022-23 season, but no, 2023.
It deserves the full name.
The Premier League title will be decided here, hopefully.
And I just worry that it's going to go to Man City again.
Yeah, but I hope Arsenal win 3-1, so we have the chance to go to a Premier League final.
That's not going to happen.
You never know.
So you settled it last year and it was nowhere near happening.
You never know. I just want it to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think an interesting thing to end off here. Do you think this title race lacks the ferocity that Man City and Liverpool had?
Oh yeah, because Pep and Arteta are best mates.
Yeah.
It's just pathetic, really.
But do you not think it's also between the players and between the fans?
They all get along, like Zinchenko.
That's exactly what I'm saying, though. Liverpool and City was such a more intense.
It's brilliant.
Well, exactly, and I think that's why City's performances in Europe faltered because they had to put everything into the Prem, knowing Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool side were there.
Whereas this year, Arsenal, yes, have been top, but I don't think City would have felt threatened at all at any point.
No, they would have. They would have in October when they were slipping up against Newcastle, and Arsenal hadn't lost a game yet.
This is why I miss when it was like Fergie versus Wenger. That's brilliant. It was fiery and vicious and tackles were flying.
Mate.
Yeah, and they'd all fight each other on the sideline. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, basically what you say is you want Roy Keane back.
Get me Roy Keane and those three managers, and we're having a brilliant time.
All right, but yeah, I do think this Premier League title fight has been a little underwhelming. I have to say, I don't, as much as football media will try and promote it with all this propaganda, going, "Oh, look at how exciting this title race is." I don't feel excited by it.
Arsenal will be 10 points
I think this game is. I think this game warrants excitement, anticipation. I think it's going to be a good game of football, but this title race as a whole doesn't captivate me in the same way the title races of the last few years have.
Imagine United and Arsenal play each other with 5 games to go. You know, back when title races were so good and so fiercely fought, everyone would have spent 2 weeks just building up to it. Been so excited.
I think people still have. I think there's still a lot of
but also on a Wednesday. That's just not exciting either, is it? Who's excited by a Wednesday?
Mate, Champions League games are played midweek and everyone still buzzes over them.
Yeah, that's Europe.
Oh, right, that hits different, does it?
Yeah, if this was a Saturday evening, 5:30 kick-off, everyone's got home from work, they're all watching it, it's brilliant.
But I prefer later kick-offs anyway.
I don't.
More excitement.
Really not.
Anyway, yeah,
It's
going to be a good game. Make sure to join us there. As I say, we'll be live. The stream page will be out on the channel by the time this podcast is going live. So yeah, and obviously yesterday, Prem predictions.
Yeah.
That went out. Another Prem prediction on Friday. So many Premier League football games going on at the moment. It's very exciting. And yeah, Manchester City, can they do the treble? Final question. No. Well, We don't know what trophy you don't think they'll win there, but next week I reckon we'll be doing our Champions League previews, or potentially the week after, so make sure to join us for those. But yeah, that is all for today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it a lot. If you have, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. We're still going. 2.5k subs this year is the goal. What are we on now? I think it's 1,380. So yeah, we're making some good progress. Make sure to keep hitting that sub button. And what else is there to say? Well, if you want to keep the conversation going, get involved in the comments down below. It's great to hear your thoughts on what we're discussing. And a bonus little thing for everyone on YouTube, Spotify, if you want to get over to YouTube, you can get involved with
Apple
this.
Music or Google Podcasts.
Or any other place you get your podcast, head on over to YouTube, because on stream the other day, I have to shout out Nick Knack, because he's a legend, decided to gift 6 memberships, gift a membership every time Newcastle scored a goal. Newcastle scored 6 goals. He gifted a lot of memberships. 4 of them we believe are still unclaimed because there weren't people in the stream claiming them. So I don't know how you allow gifts, but Google it, how to allow memberships on YouTube, work it out, and you can claim yourself a membership to the Football Chat for a month.
You're watching this,
for free.
click on the channel, claim that membership.
If you're watching every week, you're enjoying the series, you're enjoying the podcasts, all the stuff we make, then go ahead. Get yourself a membership, you deserve it. Or if you're new around here and you want...
really worth it.
the membership
so much content. Yeah.
And of course, for anyone thinking about buying a membership, we will be adding some new content, some new perks to it, hopefully.
Yeah, we were for trust me.
Towards the end of the season. If not, we will definitely have some in before next season. So yeah, that's all from us today, though. Thank you all very much for watching or listening, and we will see you next time.
See ya.